So, after breakfast, I clearly explained my immediate plans.
何？学校に行くだと？
What? You're going to school?
ええ。何か問題あるかしら、あっちゃん。
Yes, do you have a problem with that, Archer?
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
No problems, it's just... You probably shouldn't be going to school when there's a fucking battle royale going on, or about to happen at least. Archer hesitates, but does not object. He must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kind of tell without him saying so. Archer is sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward way. This is my conclusion. No, more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。
You know, Archer actually brings up a good point, Ren. Maybe you should think about this. Ren, as you are a master now, you must always be cautious of other masters. School is a place where it's hard to remain prepared against sudden attacks.
そんなことはないけどね。いいあっちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。
I think that would actually kind of require you to do so.
人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思うけど。
That's not true. Look, Archer, even though I am a master now, I don't intend to change my lifestyle. Besides, a battle between masters is something that should be done out of the public view, right? So, if we are at school where there are lots of people, I don't think we'll see any kind of surprise attacks.
I mean, I don't know, Ren. I wouldn't be so sure about that. I see. If that's what you've decided, I can only obey.
だが、例題化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。まさか学校に行っている間はここに残れなどとは言うまい。
But I can guard you in spirit form, right? You don't intend for me to stay here while you go to school.
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず、外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのも。
You're always gonna be by my side, Archer. Of course not. Not just at school, but I will want you to be by my side whenever I go outside. It is the servant's role to protect the master, so I'll be counting on you.
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜい期待に沿うとしよう。
I'm relieved to hear that. It is the duty of a knight to answer trust placed on us. I shall do my best to meet your expectations. But you're not really a knight, aren't you an archer? What?
その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
But Rin, just hypothetically, what would you do if there was an enemy in that safe place? Funny you should mention that, Archer.
What are you suggesting? Or what, are you suggesting there might be a master at school?
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではないのか？
That's right. It's certainly hard for anyone who isn't a teacher or student to get in. But wouldn't it be a problem if someone already there is a master? Rin, I think you're a little bit too careful here. Or, I should say careless. I don't know why I said careful.
I don't think that's possible. In this town, there's only one family of magi other than the Tosaka. That other family has declined, and they don't even have a master.
Again, Ren, I wouldn't be so sure about that. How do you know there isn't a master? Yeah, I have to agree with him.
Hey, it's only natural to investigate another family of magi in the same town. He isn't a master, and his successor doesn't have enough magical energy to become a master, so we can just ignore them.
そうか。つまり凛の通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
I see. So, there's another Magus at the school you go to, but you say that Magus doesn't have sufficient magical energy to become a master. Is that correct?
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょう。
Exactly. So most masters will probably be coming from elsewhere. I don't think such people would come to the school.
まあ今の段階ではな。
Well, for now at least.
だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたら。
But Rin, there are always exceptions. What if there's a Magus at your school that you don't know about?
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは
Oh my god, Rin, you're so stupid.
1年も同じ学校にいたらね。
How can you know for sure,
どんなに
though?
隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。
Like I said, there aren't any. Magi are sensitive to other magi. If we were at the same school for a year, I should be able to sense other magi no matter how well they hide it.
断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。
I will state with confidence that there are only 2 magi at our school. One of them is me, and the other is an apprentice who doesn't have enough power to become a master.
わかった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。
Do you
そんなこと絶
understand?
対にありえないんだから。
Your caution is just needless worrying. It's completely impossible.
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。
That's why this is only a hypothetical scenario. There's always another side to things.
本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。
It's only natural for unexpected things to occur.
もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言って。
I'm saying that when it does happen, do not blame me. Archer smiles dryly. Just that action makes me want to take it out on him. But if I did, I would be late for school.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。
You'd think that if Ren has been doing this for so long,
その時は私
that
の
she would
見通し
know
が悪
better.
かったってだけなんだから。
That won't happen. A hypothetical is a hypothetical because it won't happen. If it does, it just means my analysis was too shallow, which it probably is.
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リム。
Alright, I'll remember that. Let's go then, Rin.
君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
It should take 30 minutes to get to the school, so we won't make it unless we leave soon.
驚いた。
I can't miss
もし
school.
もの話って本当にあるのね。
It's more important than freaking defending myself from, getting killed or anything like that.
I'm surprised. Hypotheticals do happen.
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。
Yes, I'm surprised as well. Wow, it pays off to argue over everything. It had an unexpected payoff. As soon as we pass the school's main gate, we joke around like that. Around us are students heading to classrooms, and it's almost time for homeroom. In the crowd of people rushing into the school building, we stand dumbfounded.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない。
This isn't just the air stagnating. Isn't there a boundary field set up already?
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。
It's not complete, but the preparation seems to have already started.
ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
If he's doing this so openly, he must be a real big shot. Or just have a real big ego.
異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。
Yeah, that
やるん
too.
なら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
Or a complete amateur. A boundary field that lets others notice the abnormality is only third class. To be first class, it has to be hidden until it's activated.
で、 君はどちらだと思う、リン。
So, which do you think it is, Rin?
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。
Who knows? I don't care if he's third class or first class.
私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I'm just going to beat him mercilessly for setting up such an indecent thing in my territory.
I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a Magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. It's my territory, bitch. Stay out of my territory. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first-year student walking unsteadily. The student is clearly carrying some stack of papers, and it looks like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、さくら。
Oh god.
I'll help Sakura. Huh?
Oh my god.
遠坂先輩。
Tosaka senpai.
何、プリント？
I don't know what voice to give Sakura. She's just kind of quiet and sort of awkward.
クズキのやつ。女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。
What? Handouts?
半分貸して。
World history? That'll be my homeroom teacher. That Kazuki, what's he thinking making a girl do this? Here, give me half of it.
はい。ありがとうございます、先輩。
Oh, yes. Thank you, senpai.
いいっていいって。
Senpai noticed his
それ
name.
じゃこれ、さくらのクラスまで。
Senpai noticed me, the game.
It's fine. So we're taking these things to your classroom?
くずき先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。
No, we're taking them to Kazuki sensei. He said he's recalling them because there was a misspelling.
納得。
So there's like only one misspelling and he's recalling all of
一つ誤字
them.
があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。
I understand. Kazuki's really stubborn. He's the guy who canceled the whole test just because there was one misspelling in it. Oh god, he did.
What the fuck?
試験って学校の試験をですか？
Huh? You mean the school's exam?
そう。あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題
So
では
this
な
guy
かった。
sounds really
よって試験は中止。
particular.
後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。
Right, I think it was last year's midterm. He came in while everyone was filling in their names and said in his usual tone that the midterm has a misspelling in it. He said that the question was not correct, so the midterm was to be cancelled and retaken at a later date. We were surprised, but so were the teachers, and they still talk about it today.
Because it's fucking crazy.
なんかくずき先生らしいですね。それ先生。
Yeah, like any mistakes, Jesus.
間違いは許されないって人ですから。
That's just like Kazuki sensei. He doesn't think teachers should make any mistakes.
くずきのは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。くずきの堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。
He goes too far though. You'll realize soon too. Kazuki is as stubborn as a rock or a mountain.
Oh
先
god.
輩、くずき先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。
Hehe. Tosaka senpai, you must like Kazuki sensei. It's rare for you to talk about someone like that.
Oh my.
そう？
Oh god.
まあ確かにくずきはもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
Really? Well, I do think he should be more flexible, but...
I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. The balance between the two works so well that I think Kazuki-sensei is a good disciplinarian. He's the stick in the carrot and stick approach. Never heard that
2年にな
expression.
ればもっとくずきと顔を合わせるようになるわ。あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。
Well, you'll get to see more of him once you reach second year. He teaches ethics too.
そんなことよりさくら、
Ethics.
ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
More importantly, Sakura, is it alright if I ask you something?
Why is your hair purple?
何ですか先輩。
Huh? What is it, senpai?
昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？
It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a strange foreigner?
見てたんですか先輩。
Oh, you were watching, senpai?
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
Just by chance. So, what was it? Do you know him?
いいえ、それがその、よくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、その...
No, well, he was a strange person, and he seemed to be lost. He asked me lots of things, but I couldn't make out what he was saying, so,
Ah, so she ran away.
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。い
I see. Sorry, I was just a bit curious.
え、構いません。その、ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。
No, it's alright. Here is fine, senpai. I only have to hand these in to him now.
そう？それじゃあまたね。
Okay, see you later then.
I pass the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to my classroom, I pause.
さくら、最近はどう？
Sakura, how are things?
Shitty as usual.
大丈夫。元気です、私。
Ah, yes, it's okay. I'm doing fine.
そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
I see. Well, if Shinji does something again, tell me. He doesn't know when to stop, so it will only get worse if you don't say anything.
心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
It's fine. You don't need to worry, senpai. Nisan has been kind recently.
If she says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. Oh, well. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second, and the classroom is painted vermilion. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and night falls, there should be no one left in the school.
始めるわよ、アーチャー。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから、消すか残すか決めましょう。
Let's begin, Archer. First, we need to check out the boundary field. Once we figure out what kind of boundary field it is, we'll decide whether to eliminate it or leave it.
I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. How can you sense that? Well, then again, I probably shouldn't question it. A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across a land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible when within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The boundary field laid out over our school is of that kind. It is not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like that won't affect me, because I'm a magus. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I'm in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magi, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the area will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is everyone in the school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is I'm just not going to complete that sentence. I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people still in the school are me and Archer.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
So, this makes 7. Well, it looks like this is the origin.
A 7-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. This purplish red character, only visible to Magi, is something I've never seen before, engraved within with something unknown.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
Damn it. This is something I can't handle. Or this is something I can't handle.
Or this isn't something... Fuck. This isn't something I can handle. The person who set up this boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think, but the boundary field is bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came out onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of this boundary field. This boundary field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. So what, they'll melt? There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them. Oh, okay. That at least makes more fucking sense. But the boundary field laid out over this school is on a completely different level. This is a soul... this is a soul eater. It is a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one Magus has ever understood the soul. Souls are only things to be investigated, or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them in a single place. It's because a Magus has no use for them, even if one were to collect this inconvertible energy. Unconvertible. So if there's a reason, it must be...
Archer, あなたたちってそういうもの?
Archer, are you servants? This kind of creature?
Those that devour souls? I asked coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に、食事は第二、ないし第三要素となる。
It is as you suspect. I told you we are basically spirits. Therefore, our meals consist of souls and mental constituents.
君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。
As you subsist on meat, we subsist on souls and minds.
栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり、魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていく。
Our basic abilities do not change from such nourishment, but we do become tougher. In other words, our magical energy capacity increases. Yes. Yes. To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと?
So, the magical energy the master provides isn't enough?
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。
You'd think that Rin would know these
実力
things
が劣る場合、
seriously.
弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろ。
It's not that, but it doesn't hurt to have more. In war, if you lack strength, you make up for it with supplies, right?
周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのは、マスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えば、この結界は効率がいい。
It's a basic tactic for a master to steal energy from the people around them. In that regard, this boundary field is very efficient. Archer is saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I'm going to choose. Kill
それ、顔に
everybody.
触るわ。二度と口にしないで、アーチャー。
That annoys me. Don't ever mention it again, Archer.
I say so while staring at the mark on the ground.
For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers.
私も真似をするつもりはない。
I feel the same way. I do not intend to do so either.
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
Well, let's erase this. It's meaningless, but it should hinder them a bit.
I approach the mark engraved on the ground and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down the Tosaka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Abzug Benningdung Mittelstadt. I'm not even going to pretend to read that. Eliminate. Surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the ground with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but... What? You're going to erase it? What a waste. Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. Aw, shit. I quickly stand up and turn around. Okay, I thought that was Shinji. What voice am I gonna give this guy? On top of the water tower. In the sky, 10 meters away, a guy is looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wild, and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend, even in this situation. Is this your doing?
いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ？そこの兄さんよ。
No, petty tricks are the Magi's job. We only fight as we are commanded to. Isn't that right, you over there? Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
As I thought, a servant.
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな?
That's right. Since you can tell, I can consider you as my enemy, right? My spine freezes. A normal, light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard. Scary enough to make me vomit. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is. But my reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。
Wow, that's pretty good. You don't seem like you don't know anything, but you grasp the important points.
ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
Man, I shouldn't have messed up. I shouldn't have called out to you just for fun. Or I messed up. The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now. Oh shit. Well, as Bender would say, we're boned. Now holds a red weapon, 2 meters long. Ha! I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on a rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. Oh shit, he threw the spear. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushed me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied. Ha! You've got some good legs, young lady. The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me, to my sides. No, I won't make it. Es ist groß, es ist klein. Well, at least I can read that somewhat. My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather, and I leap. Rid. I know, let me handle it. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. What? The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds until landing. No, that's too slow. He'll catch up. Vox, Gott ist Atlas.
Archer, take care of the landing.
Oh, well, I guess she knew that was going to happen.
Ha.
I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around where we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles to play to Archer's and my strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would see only a blur. But that's not fast enough. Man, those really are good legs. It'll be a waste to kill you here. Meaningless against a servant.
Archer.
And he finally appears. At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is the short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
Hey.
Wow. The man crooks his mouth. That's good. That's the way to go. I don't mind people who are quick on the uptake. A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me on the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me. Servant. Lancer. That's right, and your servant is Saber. And you'd be wrong. Or maybe not. Who the hell are you? There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless.
You're
not the type to engage in one-on-one combat, so you must be Archer. You'd be wrong about that, sir. Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. The two counterfeit colored knights are already watching for the other's clinching blow.
Alright,
I don't like it, but now we've met. We'll just have to fight. Come on, take out your bow, Archer. I have some manners, so I'll wait at least for that. Or I'll at least wait for that. Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize I'm being stupid. Archer is just waiting for my word, my command. Archer. I talk to his back without approaching him. I won't help you. Show me your powers here. Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. You fool! What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is a raging wind, the responding spearhead is a divine wind. Aw shit. The sword is swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust of the high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. Idiot! A mere bowman challenging a close-range fight? You underestimate him. His temper is like a burning fire. Lancer closes in with each blow, with no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close in to an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning. No way. But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast, even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of his thrusts could be called a final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of a lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is in its swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust certain to strike you is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. Someone who's not even a bowman. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. The advantage of a long weapon is the length and freedom of its range. Once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is inevitable. Huh? The one in red stops. A nightmare-like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. No, not just that, the thrusts increase in speed and power without limit, and it becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runway to launch an even more powerful attack. I was holding back! The raging continuous attack is only a repetition of that, but the blows themselves are godlike. Godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many times more than that. The heavy rain of lance pours with yet more strength, trying to skew our Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. It thrusts like a waterfall, with no change in speed. What can Archer do as he's now on the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I will hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. It's just so beautiful. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the high rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest ranked familiars, called heroic spirits that the Holy Grail summons. So, it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the Magus. Clean the house. Get the groceries. Imagine, perhaps, a cat in boots. Wait, what? Okay, that's better than an example I could come up with. Or a cute white bird. Or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that a mere Magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be being stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. It's not that the summoning is hard, or even that the ability of the servant surpasses that of the Magus. Servants themselves are beings above magic. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gain concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people exist in reality or only in stories. It is people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be, give them form, and set them up as real. Authenticity doesn't matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created, the greatest human people have created. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A Magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. Worship it as God. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why the ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call unto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. That form is their temporary name, I guess that means that was a typo there. They exist in the world. This world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes, so that the heroic spirits may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present, as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role, it helps them to take form. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer, as the name would imply. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Okay, well I guess you could call him a knight. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Magus, Caster, so it's like an RPG. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. It's just like I'm playing Magic the Gathering! Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system. A summoning and contract with heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition, held only on this ground, and the one and only Holy Grail War. A loud crash. The short sword that deflected Lancer's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique, a straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid even if he had seen it coming. There is no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between a sword and a lance lies in defeating the enemy when he is at the wrong range. Idiot. There's no hesitation in Lancer. His movement to push Archer back stops. He must intend to end the match in a single instant. The stares of the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. It can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, and heart. 3 shots are launched, any one a fatal blow. But the flash too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. What? In the Archer's hand is the short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword like a hatchet. But the biggest difference is... Crap! 2 swords? A pair of swords in his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. Huh, a bowman trying to be a swordsman? Don't make me laugh. Lancer's lance flies. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say that he will not retreat anymore. No, that he will only advance from now on. The clashing of sounds are like a well-orchestrated music. 2 steels clanging against each other. The sparking clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the 2 is like a vacuum. It sucks the air around them, and it seems like anything approaching them would be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant, but for me looking on, it seems like an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his swords as a shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown, and Archer loses a sword every time. Every time he recreates one. But it's only for a moment, as Archer has a sword in his hand in the next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his carelessness. That even though he doesn't know who is before him, he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was still slow compared to Lancer. The movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility.
27。それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
27. I've disarmed you 27 times, yet you still have more. Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same way. According to Father, a servant carries only one weapon. Their weapon is filled with magical energy, so it's not something that can be created one after another, like Archer was just doing. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the holy spirits. To put it another way, they are like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their Noble Phantasm. A Noble Phantasm is a weapon or armor the servant used when they were a hero, and it's treated as a last resort. The Noble Phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the Noble Phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer was using will show its power as a Noble Phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. A Noble Phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons which rule over all others and which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate their Noble Phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destructions in legend using their weapon as a catalyst. Those weapons are never disposable. The swords that Archer brought out must be excellent, but they cannot be his Noble Phantasm. He is the servant Archer, so the Noble Phantasm he conceals must be a bow.
どうしたランサー。様子見とは君らしくないな。先ほどの勢いはどこに行った？
What's wrong, Lancer? It's not like you to just stand there and watch. Where's the energy you had just now? You're talking crap! You cheater! Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer fought as a spearman, Archer fended him off as a swordsman. It's just, you underestimated your opponent, Lancer. Which means Archer hasn't shown any of his abilities yet. So it's natural for Lancer to feel ghastly. Alright then, I'll ask you. What hero are you? I've never heard of a bowman using two swords.
そういう君は分かりやすいな。総兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。
On the other hand, it's easy to tell who you are. It's sad that only the fastest heroes are chosen as the Lancer, but you surpass even that.
これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて、獣のごとき敏捷さといえば、おそらく1人。
There aren't 3 Lancers in this world at your level, and on top of that, there's only one with such beast-like agility.
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
Oh, well said, Archer. At that instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Oh shit. Lancer's arm moves. Well, he's about to release his Noble Phantasm. This is different from before, a stance free from contempt. The spearhead is lowered as if to strike the ground, and only his stare pierces Archer. In that case, you shall face my finishing blow.
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
I won't stop you. You're an enemy I'll have to defeat sooner or later. Lancer's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns... what? My god, thorns! Fills the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hand is unmistakably a demonic one. And now, it is waiting to take its true form in the moment it strikes. Crap. He'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer will be beaten. It's implausible since this is the first time I've felt such an intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will die when that lance is thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Oh. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, even though I know what's going to happen, I can't even help him. Because if I move even a finger, that will trigger the attack. So if anything can stop this battle and stop Archer's defeat, it would be... Who's there? It would be the chance appearance of a stranger we have all overlooked. Huh? The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. The sound of fleeing footsteps. That figure is definitely wearing a school uniform. A student? Someone was still here? It seems so. He did save our lives, though. Archer says calmly. Well, we were certainly saved, but... My mistake. I didn't notice my surroundings because I was preoccupied with Lancer. Hey, Archer, what are you doing? Can't you see? I'm resting since I'm free now. You can't do that! What about Lancer? He went after that guy. He saw us, so Lancer probably went to eliminate him. He says casually. For an instant, my thoughts stop. Follow him, Archer. I'll catch up right away. Archer goes after Lancer immediately. Damn, how stupid of me. I curse my carelessness. It's the rule of Magi to eliminate any witnesses. Which is why, if one didn't want to do that, one just had to allow no witnesses. I've done that until now, so why do I have to make the mistake today of all days? A mistake. A night where even the moonlight is obscured. A student is lying on the cold hallway floor and Archer is standing still. Ellipsis. He is staring blankly at the student. A smell hits my nose. The blood on the floor makes clear that it's the smell of death. Follow him, Archer. Lancer will probably go back to his master. This won't be worth it unless we at least find out what his master looks like. Archer goes after Lancer. I'm left alone with the student lying on the floor. I can't look straight at him. But I must. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault! Ever since I was a child, ever since I became the successor of Tosaka, I've been preparing for something like this. There's no good or evil for Magi. I've always told myself that this road has only my blood and the blood of others, so... One shot with Lancer's lance, huh? You can't be saved with your heart pierced. I don't know how long it's been since Lancer killed him. Was he lucky or unlucky to be pierced through the heart? I'd say unlucky. I guess Lancer's attack isn't a simple external wound, as the flow of blood from the rupture isn't too severe. It's not too severe, but it's all over when the brain doesn't get any more blood. No, basically, if his heart were pierced, he should have died instantly. Somehow. But it's amazing. He isn't dead yet. Yes. He's still breathing faintly, as if to give his last scream. But that will only last a few more seconds. He can't heal his own wounds, and I don't have enough power to save him either.
I have to look at his face. I should at least do that.
I try to touch the head, facing the ground, and realize my fingertips won't move. They're trembling. I wonder why. I'm used to such things. I've had to make these kinds of choices many times before. I've lost many things due to my mistakes and my selfishness. Sorry about that, that was my phone. I need to put this on vibrate whenever I do these. That's why I'm ready for a day like this. So why? Why am I so angry at myself?
ごめんね。見とるぐらいはしてあげる。
Sorry. I'll see you off, at least. I control my trembling fingertips and my failing knees with my will and look at the face of the student. A huge smacking sound. It really feels like I've been hit on the head with a hammer.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
Stop it. Why does it have to be you?
I grit my teeth. Not to suppress my trembling. I'm really pissed off. Why is it him? Why did it have to be him? I'm not mad at Lancer for killing a witness quickly and perfectly, just as a servant should do. I'm just angry at him for staying late at this place on this day. How could he? Sakura's face flashes in my mind. She will definitely cry. And I recall one red-tinted day after school a long time ago. A distant sunset. Someone always running alone. And a boring girl staring at that from far away. And before me, the corpse of someone who happened to get involved. There is a way. I might fail and lose my last resort in the process, but there's still a way. No, I'll lose my last resort whether I succeed or fail, so the result for me won't change. It's a mistake. The fact of his death is already determined. It's my fault for not noticing the things around me. It's his fault for unluckily staying this late. So I don't need to go that far. Yes, because this is what my father, who gave me nothing else, left just for me. A powerful chunk of magical energy, a reliable last resort to win through this battle. A precious, precious thing just for me.
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
So what, idiot?
I shake the feeling off and kneel in front of the one who will become a corpse in another second. Well, whatever you're gonna do, Tosuke, you better hurry the fuck up.
やっちゃった。
Man, I've done it.
The pendant on my hand becomes lighter. My father's memento is drained almost to emptiness and falls onto what used to be a dying body.
まあ、仕方ないか。
Well, it can't be helped.
Yes, it can't be helped. I didn't have the power or skills to revive someone with a damaged heart, damaged blood vessels, and on the verge of brain death on top of that. That's why I had to make up for my lack of skill with this powerful object.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても蘇生なんてできなかったし。
It's lucky he was still breathing. If he was completely dead, no amount of magical energy could have revived him.
But since he was still alive, I just did what I could and ended up saving his life.
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいいか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
It would have been awful if I failed, but since I succeeded, I guess it's alright. Yeah, I feel fulfilled, to be honest. So this wasn't such a bad experience. I'm just bluffing.
行こう。済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
Let's go. What's done is done. I have to head back before he wakes up.
Yeah, there's no need for me to stay here any longer. Archer should be following Lancer, so I should go home by myself. Well, on my way back, I remember. I left the pendant at school. Just a pendant now that the magical energy has been drained out of it.
もういいか。
Oh well. That can't be helped either.
I've no more use for that pendant. Sure, it might have a bit of magical energy left in it, but surely less than than the 10 jewels I have left, or I have. What my father intended to leave for me was enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. So now, without magical energy, that thing is meaningless. I enter the house without saying anything and sit on the sofa. Archer isn't back yet. I sigh and listen to the clock for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。
Huh, I have to switch gears.
あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて、何ほうけてるんだ私。
What am I doing? Daydreaming after a battle like that. I should be strategizing. I jump up and brew some tea. No, I should be brewing tea! There are so many things to think about, like brewing tea. More importantly, the servants. I have just witnessed a battle between servants I had previously only understood intellectually.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
Lancer, huh? I panicked when he almost used his noble phantasm, but I would have found out his identity if he had used it. The easiest way to beat an enemy servant is to learn their identity. Ignoring for the moment the idiot who doesn't even know his own identity, the biggest weak point of a servant is their true name. Discovering the servant's true name, in other words, figuring out their identity, should let you take a guess at what kind of noble phantasm they might have. It goes without saying, but since servants are heroic spirits, they have a legend associated with them. If you figure out their legend, you should be able to find out most of their abilities. Exposition time! More exposition. Servants are called by their class names because they want to hide their true names. Because the more famous a hero is, the more people know about their weapons and their weaknesses. A heroic spirit that becomes a servant never gives out their true identity. The only ones that know the servants' identities are the masters. There's even a tacit understanding that masters hide their servants' identities while trying to discover the identities of others. This is the 5th Holy Grail War. The qualities of the servants are determined by the ranks of the summoned heroic spirits. It goes without saying that the more famous heroes and the heroes with better weapons are stronger. But it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. To summon a heroic spirit, one must have a connection with them, such as a weapon they use during their lives. Even the Magic Association has a few of such things. So generally, one will summon a heroic spirit that suits them, like I did. A servant's strength is determined by the rank of the heroic spirit. But it's not that simple, as even the most powerful heroic spirits may have a hard time depending on the class they are assigned to. That is because of the special abilities assigned to each class, the possibility of the weak defeating the strong. The 7 classes each have a different additional ability, and one will even have a chance of defeating an opponent of higher rank depending on the ability's affinity. To take an example, an infamous hero has defeated a great hero 4 times in the past. As far as I know, the most powerful servant is Saber. Saber-san! In all the previous 4 wars, Saber has made it to the final fight. It is said that the 3 classes, Saber, Lancer, and Archer, have strong magic resistance. To put it simply, magic is pretty much useless against them. Magic nullification. It's because there are fighters who fought through the age of myths, when magics were used widely. Magics that Magi use now would probably dissipate just by touching them. Anyways, that's why these 3 classes are considered the basics and the best. Another that's worthy of mention is the Servant Berserker. The heroic spirit summoned into this class loses their sanity. Well, yeah, hence the name. Just as the name implies, they become a mad warrior puppet of their master. The benefit from this is a strengthening of their power, far exceeding the powers they had when alive. However, the more powerful a servant becomes, the greater the burden it imposes on the master. In the past, masters who summoned Berserker couldn't control their rampaging servants and destroyed themselves by running out of magical energy. No exceptions. The winners and losers of the Holy Grail War are largely determined by the abilities of the servants. And if you guys have seen Fate Zero, you'll know exactly what Ren means when the people that summoned Berserker pretty much end up destroying themselves. If you remember anything about Karya. Well, I expect there are ways to win it by the master's efforts, but it is basically a fight between the servants. That is why a master should be very careful when summoning a servant. I silently consider the plans we should make from now on. The clock, fixed already, strikes 11 while I do so, and Archer comes home.
おかえりなさい。成果はどう？
Welcome back. How did it go? I didn't learn
す
anything.
まない失敗した、よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくともこちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
I'm sorry, I failed. It must be one cautious master. At the very least, Lancer's master is not on this side of town. As I expected. Lancer was alone, and it seems his master isn't the type to show up for battles personally.
そう。まあ簡単にはいかないわよね。
I see. Well, I guess it won't be that easy.
Yes, there's no way everything will go as I might hope. So it can't be helped. Let's consider what happened tonight as a tuition fee for the lessons learned.
覇気がないなマスター。いつもの威勢はどうした？まさか先の一戦でおじけづいたというのはなしだぞ。
You seem
君の
down,
命じる
Master.
のなら今すぐにでもランサーとの再戦に赴いてもいい。
Where are your high spirits? Don't tell me you got scared by that one fight. If you so order, I'm ready to go to battle Lancer again right now. Archer protests silently that we should do so. I see. I guess I look depressed.
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
Of course not. I'm staying in only because I don't want to do anything pointless.
Lies.
無駄手間をしたくない。
Anything pointless?
だってまだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだ。
So when are all the masters actually gonna be present? Is it gonna happen anytime soon?
Well, all the masters aren't present yet, right? Tonight couldn't be helped, but I wouldn't start fighting before we get the signal. My father told me this is one of the rules of the Holy Grail War.
そうか。君の父親もマスターだったのか。
I see. So your father was also a master. Archer nods, understanding. Why are you surprised by this? Then, Archer makes a troubled face and starts to ponder something.
何よ。何か言いたいことでもあるの？あんた。
What? Do you have something you want to say?
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。
Yeah, there's something I forgot to ask.
リン。
Why are you so bitchy all the time?
幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。つまり、初めからマスターになることを予想していたわけだ。
Rin, you've been raised since you were small to be a master, and you've accepted that, right? So you've expected to be a master since the beginning.
当たり前じゃない。それはいきなり
Because
マスタ
I
ーに
come
任
from
命
the
される
royal
魔術師もい
Tosaka
るそうだけど、
bloodline where everybody's a
私は
master.
別よ。東坂の人間にとって聖杯戦争は何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
Of course. Well, there certainly are masters that are suddenly appointed, but I'm different. For the Tosaka family, the Holy Grail has been our earnest desire for many generations.
そうだろう。なら、目的が党にあるはずだ。
I thought so. So having been raised to become a master, you must have had a purpose. Or you must have
私
a...
はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ、私も剣を預けられない。
I forgot to ask about that. I cannot swear my sword to you unless I know my master's wish.
リン。それで、
The
君の願い
destruction
は
of
何だ？
everything. So Rin, what is your wish?
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
Wish? I don't really have one.
And why would you be in this fucking Holy Grail War?
何？
What? Nani? Oh, Archer's making a funny face. Yeah, he's confused because you don't...
そんなはずはあるまい。
That's the only reason you fight in this Holy Grail War, you freaking
願いを
idiot.
叶える万能の杯だ。マスターになるということは聖杯を手に入れるということだというのに、叶える願いがないとはどういうことだ？
That can't be true. The Holy Grail is an almighty grail that grants wishes. Becoming a master means obtaining the Holy Grail, so how can you say you have no wish to grant? Archer is asking with a serious expression. Oh, I see.
The Master's wish after obtaining the Holy Grail isn't irrelevant to the servant. But it's strange. Father said that servants have wishes as well, but that is only their wish. I don't think Archer should be concerned because I don't have any wishes.
よし、明確な望みがないのであれば、漠然とした願いはどうだ。世界を手にするといった風な。
Alright, if you don't have a specific wish, why not wish for something ambiguous, like ruling the world?
なんで？世界なんてとっくに私のものじ
Oh
ゃない。
wow, you've got some fucking ego, Ren, Jesus Christ.
Why? The world is already mine.
あのね、アーチャー。世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ？そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。
Really? Because I
そ
thought
ん
it
な
just
世
meant
界を
like
支
the
配
earth.
しろって言うなら、私はとっくに世界を支配している。
Hey now, Archer, the world is just another word for the things you value around you, right? There's something I've had since I was born. Or that's something I've had since I was born. If you tell me to rule such a world, I already rule it.
Getting all philosophical again. Archer looks at me with a troubled expression.
I'm amazed. The guy really is hard-headed.
バカな。
Ren's pretty stubborn herself, so she has really no room to
望
talk
みを
here.
叶える力。現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに、何も望まないというのか、君は。
Ridiculous. The Holy Grail is a power to grant wishes, a power to obtain the world. Are you saying you're seeking it yet you have no wish?
Yeah.
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないでしょ？あなた、割と想像力が貧困ね。
But ruling the world would be so troublesome, and there's no point in wishing for something so pointless. You seem to lack imagination.
理解に苦しむな。それでは、
Don't understand.
何のために戦う？
For what then do you fight?
そこに戦いがあるからよ、ハーちゃん。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ？
I fight
人
because
間
there's
生
a
きていれば
battle,
欲し
Archer,
いものなんて限りないんだし。
and I'll take whatever I can get. I don't know about this Holy Grail thing, but I can just use it when I find something I want, right? As a human, there are infinite things I might want in life.
つまり君は。
So, you're saying...
ええ。ただ勝つために戦うの、ハーちゃん。
Yes, I'm fighting to win, Archer.
Wow. Archer's shoulders slump. Maybe he's disappointed in my opinions, but it seems he's finally relaxed.
参った。確かに君は私のマスターにふさわしい。
I give up. You're certainly a worthy master for me. Ugh. I find it hard to deal with that kind of comment, so I wish he'd stop saying such things.
サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ。
Huh? A servant has no right to choose their master, but I'll ask you for the heck of it. Why am I a worthy master for you?
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。
It goes without saying, you're unmistakably the strongest master.
使える相手として
More
これ
flattery.
以上のものはない。
No one would be a better master to serve than you.
そう、ありがとう。あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
Doesn't?
Oh, thanks. It doesn't sound like flattery when you say it.
I look away because I'm embarrassed. I find it hard to deal with Archer because he speaks frankly like this even though he's so cynical. But, well, I'm honestly happy that he trusts me. I trust Archer and he trusts me. Are you sure about that? I don't think this sense of solidarity is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息得ようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ。それは今すぐというわけでも。ちょっと待て、リン。君、あの飾りはどうした？
Well then, let's take a break. Even if the 7th master is going to appear, it won't be right now. Wait a minute, Rin, what happened to that jewelry of yours?
飾りってペンダントのこと？ああ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。
You mean my
もう何の
pendant?
力もないものだし、 別に必要ないでしょ。
Oh, I forgot it. It's out of power, so there's no use for it, right? Whatever.
そうだが君がそう言うならいいが
That's true, but... Well, if you say so.
ええ、父さんの形見だけど、別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
Yes, it's a memento of my father, but it's not like it's my only memory of him.
よくはないそこまで強くあることはないだろう
That's no good. You don't have to be that strong, Rin.
So saying, Archer takes out the pendant I left at school.
Wow, he actually retrieved it.
拾いに行ってくれたんだ、あーちゃん。
Oh, you went and picked it up for me. I'm getting embarrassed again.
もう忘れるなそれはリンにしろ
Oh my god. Don't forget it again. It only looks right on you, Rin. As if he's embarrassed, Archer looks away as he hands me the pendant. Oh, this time he's actually embarrassed.
じゃあ、ありがとう。
I see. Thanks. I accept it. To be honest, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or cool about it. The pendant is as it was. As expected, there's no magical energy left in it. Empty of magical energy, it's just an expensive but ordinary jewel, and it doesn't hold any power. But, as Archer would put it, even if there's no power left in this pendant, it still has meaning as something my father specifically left for me.
How could you do that, Ren? How could you leave it behind?
Then, maybe I can just laugh off the fact that I helped that guy by sacrificing my trump card.
って待った。
Hey, wait a sec! Something clicks in my head. I wasn't thinking straight back then because of my regret, but thinking about it calmly, I missed something. He saw us, so it'll be dangerous unless we adjust his memory. Basically, Lancer prioritized eliminating the witness over his battle with us. Lancer's thinking probably matches his master's. So, if such a master finds out the guy they killed didn't die, what would he do?
そんなやつ、生かしておかない。
He wouldn't let that guy keep on living. I get up from my sofa. It's been 3 hours since then. I might not make it, but after all I did, I have to make it on time. I run through the night. Fortunately, I know where his house is. No, I didn't look it up, but it just happens that an acquaintance of mine goes there a lot, though I've never been there myself.
まったく余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ君は
Honestly, you're just taking on unwanted troubles.
Archer has no interest in cooperating. He was against saving the guy when he was dying, and he's against me going to help him right now. It's midnight. Under the cloudy night sky, we reach the Japanese-styled house. There's no sight of anyone in this house on the edge of the residential district. There aren't many houses around it, but there's no one to come and help if something happens here. My breath is white. A wind starts to pick up. It must be quite strong as the clouds start to drift fast.
I think we all know what that means.
The supposedly warm wind of Fuyuki sends chills down my spine, making me tremble. Even if Fuyuki City is considered warm, it's still cold on the hill. The air around here is frozen. I strain my ears in the cold atmosphere. In the frozen feeling, I feel a small sense of an enemy.
いる、さっきのサーバント。
He's here, the servant from before. I bite my lip. His presence is perceptible on the other side of this wall. Lancer is in the house already and about to kill the same guy again, who has just come home without a clue as to what happened.
飛び越えて倒すしかない。その後のことはその時に考える。
I'll just have to jump in and beat him. I'll worry about what comes next when it happens. Just as I'm about to command Archer to go in.
A nuclear explosion!
A bright white light, like a fallen sun, comes from within the house. The presence is eclipsed by another presence. The wave of power of the servant Lancer is consumed by an even larger wave. The instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spiritual being a body, summoned to overpower Lancer.
嘘
No way. I can only mutter. But it's true. To prove it, Lancer jumps over the wall and leaps away as if fleeing from this place.
ねえアーチャーこれももしもの話
Hey, Archer, is this another one of your hypothetical scenarios?
さあな。だが、これで7人。
I don't
ついに
know,
数が揃ったぞ。
but this makes 7. All the masters are here now, Rin.
Archer answers calmly. I've lost my normal judgment. That's why I didn't even consider the obvious event that would follow. The wind blows strongly. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. The unlit suburbs are enclosed by darkness. And the servant jumps over the wall, coming down like a demonic bird. Archer has reacted already. But I couldn't react. That was my mistake. The battle ended with that small opening, not lasting even a second. It might have been only a second for me, but for that servant, it was an opening that couldn't be ignored. A sword rushes for me.
Oh, fuck. Archer's gonna get killed.
Huh? Archer? Archer pushes me aside and the servant slashes him. It happens in an instant. Archer, who handled Lancer's fury of attacks beautifully, has been taken down with one blow. Archer, disappear! But I make it in time. But I make it in this time. Just as the enemy servant is about to cut off Archer's head with her blade, I forcibly remove him. A pain in my right hand. It must have been an excessive command, so a command spell has disappeared from my hand.
Wow, you only have one left now, Rin. Good job. There's only one remaining. Yep.
But this is for the best. Rather than having Archer die, I would prefer to lose 1 or 2 command spells. Giving no consideration to Archer's disappearance, the servant attacks me.
なめるな
Don't underestimate me. I'll throw my jewels at you. I take from my pocket a topaz with a wind spell stored in it. Then I launch the magical energy it contains at her without processing it. This thing, which can blow away a house without a trace, is a bundle of wind spells I've stocked up over time. It's one of the 10 jewels I've been putting my magical energy into for 17 years without rest. I'm using all the magical energy stored in it, so even if I can't defeat her, it should be able to at least slow her down a bit. No, not even that. It did nothing. No effect. The swirl of wind that instantly tears apart anything caught within it disappears like a magic trick the instant it touches the servant.
Magic nullification, Ren.
Such strong magic resistance. Mere magical energy from a Magus cannot hurt this servant.
Wonder what servant it is.
So this is it. She can't be hurt by magic, and I've lost the protection of Archer, so I can't stop this servant. I barely managed to avoid one blow, but that's all. I look up at the night sky. In it is the figure of cold-hearted death who is looking down at me as I lay miserably on the ground.
Oh, look, it's Seiba-san.
What? The wind blows. In between the dark clouds in the spiral sky, the moon shines. The falling moonlight and the beautiful face. This is the servant that drove off Lancer, defeated my Archer in one strike, and annulled my magic with no trouble.
今の魔術は見事だったメイガス
That magic was splendid, Magus. The girl's voice is like a bell. Yes, this voice is like a nightmare right now. It's only natural. The more beautiful my enemy is, the more of a nightmare it is, as I cannot believe the difference in our strength.
だが最後だアーチャーのマスターよ
But this is your end, Master of Archer. The point of the sword shines brilliantly. On the verge of death, I understand. With just one look, without proof, this is the card I wanted. The one said to be the strongest of all servants, the hero of the sword. I look up at the moon, accepting my death. There's no time for me to flee or plead for my life. I will die here, and Tosaka Ren's Holy Grail War will end on the third day. There is only disgrace and regret, and I will probably vanish bearing a grudge against my enemy. But still, I don't feel anything. Something must really be wrong with me. Even though I'm going to be killed in an instant, I adore her again. That's right. If you ask for regrets, that's it. But I guess it can't be helped. Because she's the most powerful servant. Because her figure is just so heartless, so infinitely valiant, and so beautiful.